morning. Welcome to Morning Special. 여러분 안녕하세요. 10월 24일 목요일 최수진의 Morning Special입니다. Two world wars showed us how dangerous it is to lack cooperation between nations. It was one of the darkest chapters in modern history. But to assure that we never go through such nightmare again, the United Nations came into existence. And today, we mark its 74th anniversary. 네, 유엔의 날은 1945년 10월 24일 미국 샌프란시스코에서 국제연합이 처음 조직된 것을 기념하는 날인데요. 우리나라에서는 6.25 전쟁 때 유엔군이 참전한 것을 기리는 뜻도 가지고 있습니다. 이번 제74회 유엔의 날을 맞아서 유엔 참전용사와 가족들이 한국을 찾았습니다. 19살 때 영국 해병 특공대원으로 장진호 전투에 참전했던 고든 페인 씨 등 고령의 참전용사 43분이 참여했는데요. 참전용사와 가족들은 5박 6일 동안 한국에 머무르며 비무장지대와 전쟁기념관, 현충원 등을 방문 중이고요. 보훈처는 내일 이분들께 평화의 사도 메달을 수여할 계획이라고 밝혔습니다. Well, we still have a long way to go until we fully achieve the UN's goals, but those goals are there for sure, and they are ours to fulfill. With that in mind, let me give you the first quiz question of the day. Here it is. The UN has a special group of selected member states that has the mission of maintaining international peace and security. This group is known as the Something Council. 1번. The Security Council, 2번, The Secret Council, 3번, The Surprise Council. 우리가 흔히 안보리라고 하는 안전보장이사회, 영어로는 뭐라고 할까요? The UN, 1번, Security Council, 2번, Secret Council, 3번, Surprise Council 중에서 골라주시면 되겠습니다. 오늘도 청취자 여러분의 많은 참여 기다리고 있을게요. 퀴즈 정답 보내주신 분들 중에 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 비타민 C 세트 보내드리겠습니다. 또 여러분의 소식과 소감 그리고 방송 중 궁금한 질문 있으시면 보내주세요. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045고요. 무료 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. Okay, then let's kick off today's show with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
Hong Kong has formally withdrawn a controversial extradition bill that has sparked more than 4 months of unrest.
홍콩 당국이 4개월 넘게 이어져 온 반정부 시위에 발단이 된 범죄인 인도 법안 일명 송환법을 공식 철회했습니다.
A deal between Turkey and Russia has put on hold Ankara's offensive against Kurdish forces over the border in northern Syria.
러시아와 터키가 시리아 국경 문제에 합의하면서 터키의 시리아 쿠르드족 공격이 13일 만에 일단락됐습니다.
Facebook has announced a series of measures ahead of the 2020 U.S. presidential election to prevent the spread of fake news.
내년 미국 대선을 앞두고 페이스북이 가짜 뉴스에 거짓 정보 표시를 하겠다고 밝혔습니다.
The government has strongly advised people not to use flavored e-cigarettes amid growing health risks linked to vaping.
정부가 액상형 전자담배의 사용 중단을 강력하게 권고하고 나섰습니다.
The transition of fire officials' job status to central government civil servant positions has become viable after 5 years of full-fledged discussions.
소방공무원의 국가직 전환이 본격적인 논의가 시작된 지 5년 만에 가시화됐습니다. And for the headlines and more, I'm joined by Steve. He's back in the studio.
Yes.
Welcome back, Steve.
Thank you very much.
How was your day of rest yesterday? Are you feeling better?
I felt like a bear in the wintertime. I hibernated.
Did you?
You know, today's Thursday, right?
Yes, it
so
is.
Tuesday evening, I went to bed at 6 or 6:30 p.m. and I woke up the next morning at 8 a.m.
Oh, that's
so
lovely.
I slept for 14 hours?
14 hours,
Yeah.
wow. Wow.
I needed it. And then I went to bed early last night and up early this morning. But yeah, I feel so much better. I mean, not back to 100% just yet, but much, much better than I was the last couple of days.
Better, so that's great.
Have some energy this morning. So who filled in for me yesterday, Sean?
Sean did, yes.
Did you have a good time?
What am I supposed to do? What's the right answer here?
How was he? Did he do a great job?
So my answer to you is, I think you're the best news guy when you're here, Steve.
Yeah, well, when you're here. That's a great answer.
I have to be fair. I'm very diplomatic sometimes.
I'm teasing.
No,
I thank Sean
so
for filling in on short notice. That was really great of him to do that.
Well, it's still lovely to have you back, of course, and a lot of our listeners have been worried about you. They were saying,
thank you.
Are you feeling better? But luckily, you are. 최윤식 님이요. Welcome back, Bear, in the wintertime. Like hibernation.
Yes, that's me. I really believe that the best medicine, of course, we have the English expression, laughter is the best medicine. But I think when you're really sick, I think sleep is the best medicine,
definitely.
right? Yeah.
So true. And the opposite is true as well. When you don't get sleep, you can get cranky, ill, sick, just all
Makes
sorts
it
of
worse and
things.
worse,
It really
right?
does, yeah. 최기현 님이요. 스티브 선생님 진짜 걱정 많이 했어요. 저도 이번에 감기 심하게 알아서 얼마나 아프셨을지 압니다. 좀 괜찮으세요?
Yeah, I am, and I hope you're going to be okay too. Again, I said this the other day. Please be careful these days. Wash your hands and drink lots of, healthy drinks because this was not a normal cold. Usually when I get a cold, it's nothing. You get a runny nose and maybe a little bit in the chest. Yeah. This was worse. Yeah. So there's something going around these days.
Probably also because you started doing the morning shift here as well.
Could be.
So,
Could be. But yeah, I've heard other people say, though, that they've had something these days,
too. Really?
So please do be careful.
Yes, please do. And just to take an extra precautionary measure, get your flu shots as well.
What did I say on the show? Oh, yeah, I don't do that, do I? And then 2 days later, I get sick. I think that was karma. That is karma.
그러게요. 네, 모두 감기 조심하셨으면 좋겠습니다. 자, if you'd like to listen to the headlines again, do so by going to our website. 모닝 스페셜 홈페이지에 들어오셔서요. 조금 전에 읽어드린 헤드라인 무료로 다시 들으실 수 있습니다. 많은 이용 바랍니다. Let's go over the headlines.
Hong Kong has formally withdrawn a controversial extradition bill that has sparked 4 months of unrest.
홍콩 당국이 4개월 넘게 이어져온 반정부 시위에 발단이 된 범죄인 인도 법안, 일명 송환법을 공식 철회했습니다.
Right. Now, Carrie Lam assured in September that the bill would be scrapped in the next meeting of the state's legislative council, and now it has been formally withdrawn by Secretary for Security John Lee. It is officially gone. It is done. It will no longer be an issue. But that being said, they predict that these protests that began so long ago,
Too little, too late.
it's unlikely to move any needle, I guess, in the direction of deterring further conflict. And it's interesting that you use that expression, too little, too late, because that is a direct quote from one of the protesters. Her name was Connie. She's 27 years old. She said, there aren't any big differences between suspension and withdrawal of the extradition bill. It is too little, too late.
I remember months back when Carrie Lam said, the extradition bill is dead. And that was the first formal announcement that she was going to withdraw the bill, and it has been withdrawn now. But as you said, it has come quite late. I mean, if this had happened maybe 4 months ago, I can definitely see the protest dying down
If it had
faster.
happened immediately.
Exactly.
Connie, the person who I quoted just a moment ago, she continued on by saying there are still other demands the government needs to meet, especially the problem of police brutality.
그렇습니다. 아직까지도 요구사항이 4개나 더 남아있다라고 하면서 사람들이 너무 너무 늦게 정부 측에서 움직임을 보였기 때문에 시위는 쉽게 끝나지 않을 것이다. 이렇게 얘기를 하고 있어요. Some of those other requests include, as you said, looking into police brutality. That would be an official inquiry. Another one is not to label the people involved in the protests as rioters. Another one is amnesty for the arrested protesters. And finally, something that's been going on for ages, implementation of a complete universal suffrage. They want to pick their leader.
they have been saying 5 demands, not 1 less. They've been chanting that, as a matter of fact. And speaking of picking a new leader, there have been reports that China could seek to replace Carrie Lam with an interim chief executive in an attempt to kind of calm down the protests. I did read that they want the protests to calm down first before they replace Carrie Lam, so it doesn't seem like they are giving in to the protesters because the protesters have been calling for her resignation, right?
네. 지금 홍콩에서는 범죄인 인도 법안이 공식 철회됐었어도 여전히 4가지 요구사항이 남아있기 때문에 그중에서는 이제 경찰이 진압한 것에 대한 어떤 공식적인 수사가 이루어져야 된다라는 내용도 있고요. 그다음에는 그 rioters, 그러니까 그 폭군 이런 레이블이 그 명칭을 쓴다고 하는데 이런 명칭을 없애라. 시위에 참여한 사람들에 대한 어떤 대우나 처우 얘기도 있습니다. 등등의 여러 가지 요구 사항이 있는데 그 와중에 지금 캐리 람 행정장관 교체설 얘기가 나오고 있어요. Nothing is for sure, as you said, at this point in time.
Yes, that's correct. It's just a report. But if given the blessing of Xi Jinping, then the successor could be installed by March to see out the remainder of her term. And that's why we said interim, right? An interim leader.
Temporary.
Yeah, so that would be until the end of 2022.
Okay. Separately, yesterday, Hong Kong released the murder suspect whose case led to these law amendments, which then led to the protests.
Yeah, please do tell us about this. The timing of this is really interesting.
It is. So the guy in question is Chan Tong Kai. He's a Hong Kong citizen. But he was traveling to Taiwan with his girlfriend. Girlfriend was also from Hong Kong. But they were traveling to Taiwan. And there, he killed her. Well, he's the suspected murderer, but I understand he's confessed to his murder. So, we're just going to call him that for now. And, however, he fled right away back to Hong Kong. So he left Taiwan after the murder of his girlfriend. And he was not able to be tried in Taiwan because the extradition bill is not in force.
There's no extradition treaty between Taiwan and Hong Kong. That's where this whole extradition bill came up to be a thing in the first place, right? So this guy, he went to jail, but he didn't go to jail in Hong Kong for the murder of his girlfriend. He went to into jail in Hong Kong for withdrawing money from her credit card after she died. And therefore, the sentence was only 19 months, and he got released on Wednesday. The timing is amazing of this, isn't it?
네, 그렇습니다. 연관된 사건이라고 볼 수도 있겠고요. 별도의 사건이라고 볼 수도 있겠지만 어제 그러니까 처음에 이 범죄인 인도 법안 얘기가 나왔을 때 당시에 인용이 됐었던 사건이 있습니다. 홍콩 출신의 남녀 커플이 있었는데요. 이 커플이 대만으로 여행을 갔다가 남자친구가 여자친구를 살해했습니다. 그런데 다시 바로 홍콩으로 남자가 도망을 갔어요. 그러다 보니까 범죄인을 인도할 수 있는 법안이 아직까지 없기 때문에 대만에서 이 남성을 그 살인자로 재판에 넘길 수가 없었고요. 왜냐면은 이미 떠났기 때문에 홍콩에서도 마찬가지로 보낼 수가 없는 그런 상황이었습니다. 그래서 돈 세탁이라는 또 다른 명목으로 홍콩에서 지금 수감됐었다가 어제 풀려났습니다.
Yeah,
this was an interesting but bizarre case.
He said that he's willing to surrender himself. He's willing to go back to Taiwan to face the trial and serve the sentence.
We'll have to see what happens. Yeah.
Nobody knows what he'll do.
Okay. Yep. Let's go on to our next story now.
A deal between Turkey and Russia has put on hold Ankara's offensive against Kurdish forces over the border in northern Syria.
러시아와 터키가 시리아 국경 문제에 합의하면서 터키의 시리아 쿠르드족 공격이 13일 만에 일단락됐습니다.
Right. So Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Russian President Vladimir Putin, they met in Sochi for 6 hours. They had talks for more than 6 hours. Actually, they came out of those talks just 2 hours before the 5-day ceasefire that was brokered by the United States. Just 2 hours before that was set to finish up. But yes, they have now concretely defined the the size and scope of the area that Turkish soldiers will occupy, that safe zone that Erdogan has been wanting. This is considered a win for Turkey and a win for Russia.
A huge win for Russia. In fact, many people are seeing that the US has done Russia a big favor by pulling out and leaving the Kurds pretty much defenseless. And then the Russians have now stepped in along the border. This is the Turkish side, of course, but still, nonetheless, they are going to sort of keep in check the Kurds, which could mean more violence. We don't know.
Well, they've given a certain period of time, and the situation now is that the Russian military police are policing the areas that the U.S. used to be. So the reason I guess they say it's a win for Russia is because they will now be the major power broker in
the balance of power has definitely shifted from the U.S. to Russia
in the
region.
Right.
In the region. 네, 그렇습니다. 러시아와 터키가 이렇게 어제 합의를 통해서 시리아와 터키의 그 접경 지역에서 러시아 군인이 들어가서 터키 측을 뭐 어찌 보면은 같이 그 patrol 한다 그러죠. 이제 Kurdish forces, 쿠르드족을 방어하는 데 있어서 어떤 역할을 하겠다라고 했기 때문에 러시아에 막강한 파워가 주어졌다라고 많은 전문가들은 보고 있습니다. 미국이 이제 떠나간 그 공백을 러시아가 메꾼 것이 아니냐라고 보고 있는 거죠. And in the meantime, US forces that left Syria for Iraq. Over in Iraq, they're saying we didn't give permission for US forces to stay in our country for good.
Yeah, that was meant to be temporary. Those troops taken out of Syria and put into Iraq meant to be temporary, but Iraq has now, I believe, said time to go.
Yeah, so things are looking a little strange for the US, although Mr. Trump has said he is very happy with everything that has happened in the region. Let's go on to our next headline.
The following headline
Number
this morning.
three
Headline
is
number 3.
Facebook story.
Yeah, Facebook has announced a series of measures ahead of the 2020 U.S. presidential election to prevent the spread of fake news.
네, 내년 미국 대선을 앞두고 페이스북이 가짜 뉴스에 거짓 정보 표시를 하겠다고 밝혔습니다.
It's amazing to think that Facebook can be so powerful in deciding a presidential election, right? So these changes, well, the quote from Mark Zuckerberg is as follows. The bottom line here is that elections have changed significantly since 2016, and Facebook has changed too. So the changes include stepped up enforcement to fight against coordinated, inauthentic behavior on their site. So what that means is they're going to crack down on nation states and other groups that hide their identities to spread misinformation. There's also a new way to feature for politicians and candidates and their teams to protect their own accounts. There's going to be clearer fact-checking labels. There's going to be an all-out ban on ads that are meant to keep voters away from the polls.
네, 그렇습니다. 미국 대선을 앞두고 어떤 허위 정보로 인해서 그 유권자들이 잘못된 판단을 하는 것을 막기 위해서 페이스북이 앞으로는 돈을 더 투자해서라도 각종 소식들이 이게 진짜인지 가짜인지를 판별해서 가짜일 경우에는 레이블을 가짜 뉴스입니다라는 어떤 것을 이제 붙이겠다 이렇게 얘기를 하고 있습니다. Just making it more transparent.
Yeah, and some of the ads I was talking about, I mean, I didn't even realize that this was a thing, but they are banning those ads about voter turnout. For example, if there's an advertisement on Facebook that tells you that the election will take place on a different day, so that means voting would take place on a different day, or you can vote via text this number, or that your vote isn't going to count, so you don't need to vote in this election. Those things will no longer be able to take place, but there was the danger of that taking place.
I see, all right. We'll leave that there and move on to our next headline.
The government has strongly advised people not to use flavored e-cigarettes amid growing health risks linked to vaping.
정부가 액상형 전자담배의 사용 중단을 강력하게 권고하고 나섰습니다.
Right, so this now Korea joins a wave of nations, a number of countries around the world that have imposed tougher regulations amid growing health concerns linked to vaping. So Korea's Health and Welfare Minister, Park Nung-hoo, he said the government also immediately banned teenagers from using flavored e-cigarettes or e-liquid, warning that such vaping products could cause serious health damage.
And this is a global trend. We heard of a similar story coming from the United States not too long ago.
We did, and we heard of all of those stories of people reporting to the hospitals with certain illnesses that they assumed were related to vaping, and that's why other countries have kind of followed suit.
Yeah, weren't there reports of deaths in the US because of vaping? And they were saying, this is not just an issue of addiction, it's life and death.
It's true, and they still had not kind of focused in on the one singular thing. I think there are still a number of studies that need to be done. This is considered to be a big precautionary measure.
네, 미국에서 이 액상형 전자 담배 사용으로 인해서 30명 이상이 사망했다라는 소식도 최근에 전해드렸는데요. 한국에서도 비슷한 움직임이 이제 있습니다. 10대들 같은 경우에는 당장 이제 액상형 전자 담배 사용이 중단됩니다. Let's go on to our next and final headline.
Final headline for this morning: the transition of fire officials' job status to central government civil servant positions has become viable after 5 years of full-fledged discussions.
네, 소방공무원의 국가직 전환이 본격적인 논의가 시작된 지 5년 만에 가시화됐습니다.
All right, so as of the end of August, 98.7% of 54,875 fire officials had local government status. 1.3% were put under the central or national status of employees. So if the bill passes the plenary session of the National Assembly, this means that nearly 99% of local firefighters will switch to state posts as early as January of next year.
네, 그러니까 현재는 소방공무원의 경우는 지방직으로 분류가 되어 있는데요. 이게 빠르면은 내년 1월부터 국가직으로 전환이 될 수 있다고 하는데요. What does that mean? What does that signify?
It's improved treatment for the firefighters. It's more systematic in terms of mobilization of firefighting workforce. So if they were separated into districts. I don't know the term in Korean, but I'll use districts.
Yeah.
If they're separated, now in the past, there would have had to been some paperwork to clear firefighters to travel across borders, if you will.
That actually happened with the Gangwon-do fires. And, they had a bit of trouble. It could have been a faster process, but because of the paperwork, as you just mentioned there, it took some time to get all of the different firefighters from different parts of the nation to come and help out in Gangwon-do. But if they all become central government positions, then it would be a very quick, expediting process, right?
Yes, exactly. And also the financial conditions of respective local governments. That means that certain firefighters in certain regions would make more money than others in other regions. But if they're all working for the same team, if you will, then that will solve that problem as well.
네, 그렇습니다. 지금 현재 이제 지방직이기 때문에 지역마다 처우도 다르다고 하고요. 그 다음에는 인력 부족인 지역도 많이 있고, 그 다음에 예전에 강원도 산불이 있었을 때 다 같이 모이는데도 조금의 불편이 있었다고 합니다. 그런데 이제 만약에 국가직으로 전환이 되게 되면은 처우 개선 또 인력 문제도 어느 정도 해소가 될 것 같고요. 장비 문제도 자연스럽게 좀 나아진다라고 합니다. All right, improved conditions, basically. Well, those are our headlines for this morning. Let's remind our listeners of the quiz.
Quiz question today. This is a long one, so please listen carefully. The UN has a special group of selected member states that has the mission of maintaining international peace and security. This group is known as the Blank Council. Is it number 1, Security Council, number 2, Secret Council, or number 3, Surprise Council?
네, 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 비타민 C 세트 보내드리겠습니다. Let's listen to a song and we'll come back with some messages and news-focused stories. Scissor Sisters sing I Don't Feel Like Dancing. You're listening to Morning Special, and our listeners are saying, welcome back, Steve. It's great that you're feeling better today. 아똥 임주연 님이요. 스티브 선생님 그나마 다행입니다. 몇 년 전에도 모스에서 한 번도 아픈 적이 없다라고 하시고는 며칠 뒤에 목소리가 안 나올 정도로 아프셨어요. 건강은 스스로 자랑하는 게 아닌 것 같아요. 선생님들 건강 조심하세요. Did this happen a few years ago?
Yeah.
When you said I never get sick and then you got sick.
It's just what happens, right? It's as soon as you say it, as soon as you put it out there into the universe, then the universe throws it back in your face, right? But I have my little spray.
What is that?
I recommend that people use this, or at least it worked for me.
Yeah.
It's really good. in the old mouth. Good for the throat.
Perfect. 홍윤미 님이요. 스티브 선생님 활기찬 목소리를 기다렸어요. 어제 좋은 시간 보냈냐고 물으시는 모습 진짜 재밌어요. 하하하하 라고 보내주셨습니다. She looked forward to having you back and she's happy that you're able to joke again and, you know, just have fun.
I was looking forward to coming back. Do you know, even though I was sick yesterday or the night before, I texted Paul and I said, Paul, why don't you let me do the news? Let me write the news stories. I won't be there tomorrow, but just let me write them, please. And Paul said, no.
That's my job.
So I'm happy to be back too.
네, 번호 1191 쓰시는 분이요. 부산은요, 날씨가 잔뜩 흐려 있습니다. 올해는 가을 날씨가 흐린 날이 많아서 농사가 잘 될런지 걱정이네요. Oh yeah, the weather, I mean, is definitely going to affect farmers. Maybe not the best kind of weather to be planting or reaping your crop.
In Busan, the weather these days?
Yeah. This is what our listener says there. Don't know too much about agriculture, so but they're saying it could be a bit of a problem. The weather's not great.
Well, hopefully it works out okay for you.
Yes. All right, well, keep those messages coming in. Thank you all for writing in this morning. We have prizes to give out in the first hour, and those would be 5 vitamin C sets.
My advice would be to eat that vitamin C set as soon as you get it.
그렇습니다. 감기 회복에도 참 좋죠. 선생님한테 드려야 될 것 같네요. All right, in the meantime, let's look at our news focus stories. 자, 첫 번째 뉴스 포커스 보겠습니다. 자, 현지 시간 24일 오늘부터 프랑스 루브르 박물관에서 다빈치 사후 500주년을 기념한 사상 최대 규모의 특별전이 열리는데요. 2017년 미술품 경매 사상 최고가에 팔린 뒤 쥐니 논란을 빚어온 작품 살바토르 문디의 전시 여부에 또다시 세간의 관심이 쏠리고 있습니다. Let's listen to the story.
Nearly 200,000 people have already reserved their place in line for a new monumental Leonardo da Vinci exhibition at the Louvre Museum, despite missing 2 of the master painter's works. The 2 pieces conspicuous by their absence are the Mona Lisa and the Salvator Mundi. Mystery now surrounds the Salvator Mundi, the work that became the most expensive painting ever sold when it fetched $450,300,000 at a Christie's auction in 2017, as it has not been seen in public ever since the stunning sale.
네, 레오나르도 다빈치가 그린 것으로 추정이 되는 아주 유명한 살바토르 문디의 전시 여부에 따라서 또 이번에 특별 전시가 또 어떻게 사람들을 모을지 관심이 모아지고 있는데요. 지금 보여드리는 그림입니다. This is the Salvator Mundi, the one we don't know if it's real or not. Mm-hmm. And some people say it might not be a Da Vinci because of that sphere that is in the left hand of this person. Leonardo da Vinci, he was not only a great artist, but he was also a scientist, and he would have been very well aware of the depth of a sphere, but it looks quite flat. And so people are saying that is not typical of his drawing or painting.
That's why people are suspicious. Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's going to be missing. The Mona Lisa is not going to be there. Although I read the reason the Mona Lisa is not going to be there is they're going to keep it where it is so it's not too overcrowded because thousands and thousands of people already go to visit the Mona Lisa as it is, right? Have you ever seen it, by the way?
I have.
I've heard it's disappointing.
Yes, because first of all, for people who are short like me, you can't see it properly amongst the crowd of hundreds of people in front of you.
Okay.
And the picture itself is very small.
That's what I've heard. You know, the same they say about Niagara Falls in Canada.
I loved Niagara Falls.
They say that, though. You know, I've never visited before.
Really?
Niagara Falls.
I've seen Niagara Falls.
Right? Niagara Falls in Canada and America, I believe.
Yeah.
They
call it something else in America, though.
They say that it's way smaller than you think it's going to be, and that's what they say about the Mona Lisa, too.
Well, I was 10 when I went to Niagara Falls, so it looked big to me because I was so small.
Right on.
Anyway, we're looking at the 2 pictures here. Of course, this year marks 500 years since the death of Da Vinci, so they're having having a special exhibition, but the Mona Lisa and the Salvator Mundi will not be there.
That's right. But all the while, this is still a monumental exhibition. So monumental is of great importance. It is really, really, really big event.
네, 그렇습니다. 아주 기념비적인이라는 뜻의 monumental 쓰였죠. 굉장히 아주 기념할 만한 그런 전시가 될 텐데 두 개의 작품이 없어요. The two pieces conspicuous by their absence.
Yeah, so conspicuous is something that stands out. For example, if you look at the Lotte Tower in Chamshil, right?
Yeah.
You can be almost anywhere in this country and look up, and there it is. And the reason it's there is because it's so conspicuous. It stands out.
맞아요. 굉장히 눈에 잘 띄는이라는 뜻의 conspicuous가 여기서는 conspicuous by their absence라는 아주 재밌는 표현으로 쓰였습니다. 뒤에 나온 부분부터 보면은요. 없기 때문에 더 눈에 띈다. 이게 되겠죠. By the absence라는 건 그런 의미가 있어요. 그래서 눈에 띈다는 건 꼭 눈앞에 있어야만 눈에 띄는 게 아니라는 것 기억해 주시면 될 것 같고요. Yeah, and it fetched a huge sum of money, the Salvator Mundi.
$450,300,000 at the Christie's auction in 2017.
And that's despite people not knowing whether or not this was the real deal.
Yeah. Sue, can I borrow $450,300,001? I would like to outbid that person the next time around.
Sure, why not?
To fetch means that it got that amount when it was up for sale, right?
Yeah.
So if I sell this computer online, I can say it fetched 900,000 won. It means that's how much it sold for.
그렇죠. 원래 fetch는 가져오다라는 뜻인데 여기서는 낙찰됐다라는 의미로 쓰였습니다. Okay, and do we have a bit of a correction with the article? The last sentence, I understand.
You'll hear it in
we'll hear it in the
rereading.
reread. Okay,
Yeah.
let's listen to the story one more time.
Nearly 200,000 people have already reserved their place in line for a new monumental Leonardo da Vinci exhibition at the Louvre Museum, despite missing two of the master painter's works. The two pieces conspicuous by their absence are the Mona Lisa and the Salvator Mundi. Mystery now surrounds the Salvator Mundi, the work that became the most expensive painting ever sold when it fetched $450,300,000 at a Christie's auction in 2017, as it has not been seen in public ever since the stunning sale. The Louvre said the museum's request to borrow the work is still pending.
So the Salvator Mundi could or might not.
And that was
be
the
there.
correction. I missed one sentence.
Still pending.
Like I said, I'm 85% back.
Okay, let's try and bump that up to 100% with our next article. 두 번째 뉴스 포커스입니다. 덴마크 예링의 모래 언덕 위에는요. 51년 전 가동이 중단된 등대가 홀로 서 있습니다. 주변 풍경과 어우러져 장관을 연출하는데요. 한 해 25만 명이 넘는 관광객이 찾는 관광 명소이기도 하죠. 이 등대가 모래 언덕 아래로 추락할 위험에 빠지자 덴마크 당국이 약 8억 원을 들여서 등대 전체를 옮기는 작전을 펼쳤습니다. Let's listen to the story.
A 120-year-old lighthouse in Denmark at risk from North Sea erosion of the country's northwest coastline was on Tuesday wheeled back from the cliff edge. When the 23-meter lighthouse was first lit in 1900, it was roughly 200 meters from the coast. That distance shrank to a precarious 6 meters. Moving the lighthouse with the help of rails and wheels was expected to last 10 hours at a speed of 8 meters an hour. The lighthouse ceased operating in 1968 and was briefly turned into a museum. The surrounding dunes still attract more than 250,000 visitors each year.
Yeah, it was a long process. The prep work itself, took forever, it seems. But it's finally been done. 사전 그 준비 작업만 한 10주가량 걸렸다고 하고요. 지금 보이는 라디오로 영상을 보여드리겠습니다. It's really pretty, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it unbelievable that it was first lit in the year 1900?
Wow.
But as you can see, if you're watching the video on Poinen Radio right now, it's getting dangerously close, precariously close to the cliff's edge.
Because it's on sand.
Yeah, so it's because of erosion, right? And that's our first term here. Erosion is caused by water. It's when water washes over land and it washes that land away slowly over time.
네,
the land erodes.
그렇죠. 뭐 부식 또는 침식을 erosion이라고 합니다. 아무래도 이제 모래사장 위에 지어지다 보니까 이런 일이 있는 것 같고요. 1900년대부터 가동이 된 등대인데 it shrank, the distance that is, shrank to a precarious 6 meters.
Well, like I said, we can see in the video there that it's getting dangerously close. So if something is dangerously close to falling over or collapsing, you could say that it's precarious. And it's a precarious 6 meters away from the ocean. You have to move it.
그렇죠. 위태위태한 것을 이제 precarious라고 합니다. 이렇게 그 모래사장이 세월의 흐름에 따라서 모양이 좀 변하고 이러다 보니까 처음에는 바다로부터 한 200m 떨어져 있었는데 지금 한 6m밖에 떨어져 있지 않다라는 이제 얘기들이 나오면서 통째로 옮긴 거예요. 지금 옮기는 장면도 여러분께 보여드리고 있습니다.
The leaning Tower of Pisa looks like it's in a precarious position, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does actually. So you can see the actual lighthouse being moved completely. This cost a lot of money. It took a lot of time. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be safe. And apparently, it's going to have another 40 years of its life extended at least.
Yeah, and people may argue, why would you spend this much money on moving such an old building? But it does attract a lot of visitors as well. And it's also a piece of your country's history, right? And the surrounding dunes, they still attract more than 250,000 visitors each year. Sand dunes. Sand dunes are kind of, they're like little tiny hills and valleys of sand.
그렇습니다. Sand dune이라고 하면은 이제 모래 언덕을 뜻하는데요. 이번에 이렇게 등대가 이사를 함에 따라서 수명이 한 40년 정도 연장된다고 하네요. Let's listen to the story one more time.
A 120-year-old lighthouse in Denmark at risk from North Sea erosion of the country's northwest coastline was on Tuesday wheeled back from the cliff edge. When the 23-meter lighthouse was first lit in 1900, it was roughly 200 meters from the coast. That distance shrank to a precarious 6 meters. Moving the lighthouse with the help of rails and wheels was expected to last 10 hours at a speed of 8 meters an hour. The lighthouse ceased operating in 1968 and was briefly turned into a museum. The surrounding dunes still attract more than 250,000 visitors each year.
It's time now to remind our listeners of the quiz. Steve!
Quiz question. The UN has a special group of selected member states that has the mission of maintaining international peace and security. This group is known as the blank council. Is it number 1, security, number 2, secret, or number 3, surprise?
네, 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 총 5분께 추첨을 통해서 비타민 C 세트 보내드릴게요. 노래 듣고 와서 다음 뉴스 포커스 보겠습니다. This is Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy by Queen. 자, 다음 뉴스 포커스 살펴보겠습니다. 영국 토트넘에서 뛰고 있는 손흥민 선수가 축구 선수 최고의 영예인 발롱도르 최종 후보 30인의 이름을 올린 데 이어 어제는 한국 축구 전설 차범근 선수와 어깨를 나란히 했습니다. 유럽 무대 121번째 골을 기록하면서 차범의 기록과 동률을 달성한 건데요. Let's listen to the story.
With a pair of goals in the team's 5-0 rout of Red Star Belgrade, Tottenham Hotspur's Son Heung-min has equaled the South Korean scoring mark in European football. Currently the first Asian in 12 years to have been nominated for the annual Ballon d'Or, Son netted his 120th and 121st goals of his European career in the 16th and the 44th minute, respectively, of the aforementioned match, putting him on a level with former Bundesliga star Cha Bom-gun. Son also owns the record for most goals by a South Korean player in a European season, with 21 goals during the 2016-2017 season.
Well, Cha Bom-gun back in the day, he was known as Cha Boom.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because of his powerful kicks. And he was a legend, he still is. But now it looks like Son Heung-min is about to overtake some of the records.
Seems like that, huh?
Yeah.
So this was because of a game against Red Star Belgrade, and Tottenham Hotspur. They won that game 5-0, and Son Heung-min, he scored a couple of goals there. He is quite the footballer, isn't he?
Definitely. So give us some of the expressions.
Yes, so this game between Tottenham Hotspur and Red Star Belgrade, it was a 5-0 rout. So a rout is it's a game or a competition that is not close in its final result. Right? So if you and I play a game against each other of tennis, let's say. Do you ever play tennis?
I used to when I was younger.
Okay, so we play tennis, and Sue wins in 3 sets, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. I did not win one game. That is a rout. She completely destroyed me. The end result was not even close.
Yes.
And in football, 5-0, 5-0, that's considered a rout.
Yes, you don't play tennis, do you?
I used to when I was a teenager.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't say nil in tennis, as far as I remember. I don't remember the exact term, though.
Are you tennis shaming me right now?
I am tennis shaming you.
I'm still sick and you're shaming me.
I think
on
the term
sports,
is love.
On sports of all things.
Okay, so 완패라는 뜻의 rout가 여기서 쓰였습니다. Okay, let's look at another expression.
Yes, so he netted his 120th and 121st goals of his career. The soccer net, right? We call it the net.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask you first now about sports terminology. He netted, it's used as a verb, right? To put the ball in the net. That's why we say he netted his 120th and 121st goals.
아하, 어떤 그 골을 넣다라는 뜻으로 영어에서는 net라는 동사를 쓴 겁니다. net가 원래는 그물이라는 뜻이잖아요. 그래서 골대를 말하기도 하는데 골대 안에다 공을 넣다라는 동사로 쓸 수 있다는 거. 재밌는 표현이죠?
I will say though, this term is more for sports writing than it is for spoken English. You wouldn't be watching the games with your friends, having some chimek and say, netted it! No, it's weird, right?
맞아요. 이렇게 기사에서나 이렇게 말하고 평소 대화에서는 와, 손흥민 선수가 네트 했대라고 하진 않습니다.
Nice netting!
그렇게 잘 안 하죠.
No, you wouldn't say that.
Okay, is there another expression you'd like to go over?
Sure, the aforementioned match. This one is quite good. It looks fancy because it's very, very long, this word, aforementioned. But what it means is the one that was mentioned before or a minute ago. And it says match, aforementioned match, because in the beginning of the article, I talk about the game, the 5-0 rout of the Red Star Belgrade. That's the match. And then when you mention the match later, you can say the aforementioned match.
그렇습니다. 발음은 저는 좀 다르게 하는데 저는 aforementioned 하는데 그 앞서 언급한 이런 뜻이 있습니다. aforementioned 굉장히 긴 단어입니다. All right, and of course, very proud as a Korean I am. Son, obviously, sort of, I think he got this record 2 years ahead of Cha's record.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, he's actually doing better.
So he has a lot more time to break those records.
We need a new nickname for him. Sonboom.
Sonboom?
I don't know, maybe.
We ask our listeners some morning, yeah?
Okay, let's listen to this story one more time.
With a pair of goals in the team's 5-0 rout of Red Star Belgrade, Tottenham Hotspur's Son Heung-min has equaled the South Korean scoring mark in European football. Currently the first Asian in 12 years to have been nominated for the annual Ballon d'Or, Son netted his 120th and 121st goals of his European career in the 16th and the 44th minute respectively of the aforementioned match, putting him on a level with former Bundesliga star Cha Bom-gun. Son also owns the record for most goals by a South Korean player in a European season with 21 goals during the 2016-17 season.
Okay, well, wrapping up our news-focused stories, it's time now to announce the answer to the quiz.
The question was lengthy this morning.
Yes, it was.
The UN has a special group of selected member states that has the mission of maintaining international peace and security. This group is known as the blank council. Is it number 1, security, number 2, secret, number 3, surprise, and the answer is the Security Council number 1.
네, 1번입니다. 안전보장이사회 안보리를 영어로는 UNSC, UN Security Council이라고 하죠. 윤현자님, 문은미님, 0883 끝번호 쓰시는 분과 8126님, 그리고 끝번호 9154 쓰시는 분 축하드립니다. 비타민 C set 보내드릴게요. Of course, 손흥민 does have a nickname, which is Sensation.
Oh.
Yeah, but I was just, kidding there.
You want a new one?
Yeah, because I feel like I really like the chaboom. It sounds great, right? So I thought, Sonboom? Maybe not. It doesn't have the same ring.
Well, I think Mr. Cha might be upset that you stole his nickname as well.
All right. So we'll keep it with Sensation then.
Right.
Sensation is fine. All right. And since we've given out the answer to the quiz, it's time now to give out today's expression.
Let's do aforementioned.
Okay.
This one is quite good because you can use it in speaking and you can use it in writing your business emails. Or when you're giving a presentation. So let me explain. I'll do it rather quickly.
Okay.
So if you start off your presentation to your team and you say, this Friday there will be a meeting, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
More information about the meeting. And then you change topics. Okay. And then you mention the meeting again. So when you say, the aforementioned meeting will take place at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Now, if you take out aforementioned, you say, well, the meeting will take place at 9 a.m.
Then people will be like, what meeting?
What meeting?
Yeah.
Because you didn't talk about it for a little while. But when you put aforementioned in front of it,
Right.
then people know what you're talking
And
about.
our writer Paul says, how far back do you have to mention something when you want to use the expression aforementioned? So can you be talking about a meeting that you mentioned an hour ago?
That's a very good question. Yes, it has to be a reasonable amount of time.
You have to remember it at least, right?
Yes, you can't do page 1 of your presentation and mention a meeting, and then on page 25 of your presentation say the aforementioned meeting. That's too far away. It has to be. There isn't a specific amount. There is no answer to that question, but it has to be a reasonable amount of time.
네. aforementioned는 형용사인데요. 앞서 언급한이라는 뜻이 있습니다. Okay, so that is today's expression. And that does it for this first hour. How was it? How did it feel? You're not quite 100% as you said, but that was all right.
Yeah, by tomorrow I will be. It was great to be back. Thanks for your patience with me.
Not a problem.
And have yourselves a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Steve. Well, coming up in hour 2, we have Say What? And we also have movies with a very special guest today. We'll find out who that is after Sweetbox sings Life is Cool.